Welcome into the show. Once again, we are talking about forgiveness. Why? Because the divine keeps telling me there's more that needs to be said about this. So, as we talk about forgiveness here today, I'm going to express to you the importance of why exactly we need to forgive. So, let's say that you are holding unforgiveness within you. Attached to that is going to be all kinds of things, right? Like resentment or anger, or basically, there is going to be something that is incomplete. Why? Because you maybe haven't expressed to that person how it is that you feel. So you actually haven't been able to get it out. Maybe this person has done something so horrible to you and you are never going to get an apology. Maybe you don't even know where to find this person anymore. Totally cool. Maybe this was someone who did something to you as a young child and you think, why would I ever forgive that horrible person who did this horrible thing to me? I understand. I compassionately understand. And so I'm going to tell you exactly why it needs to and has to happen and is only purely for your benefit, for your spiritual evolution, why this needs to occur. Now, when we do not forgive someone, the reason why it's so important to is because of the emotions, because of the thoughts, the beliefs, the words, the actions, the energy that is stored within us when we do not forgive. And as we hold these low vibrational energies within ourselves of unforgiveness, we attract more situations similar to those that we do not like, do not want, because we are holding that I do not like, I do not want that within our body. Now, the only way to truly break yourself free from this is to understand some very deep spiritual truths. The deeper that you go, the more you will truly be set free, because when we can understand that the world that we're looking at is not material, it's so much more than what our eyes are seeing, then we can understand on a deeper level how everything is interwoven and intertwined and how everything is as it must be. Even that horrible thing that happened, that you were finding it so hard to forgive. Trust me, I've been there, man. It took me years and years and years and literal years of not speaking to certain people that I just couldn't find myself able to forgive. And I was actively working at it, actively working at it. So about, let's go 11, 12 years ago or so. Okay, so about 11 years ago, I'm taking training. I'm taking some hypnosis training. And as I'm doing this, the topic that was coming into my mind was, okay, we're working through, this way of teaching people how to forgive, right? We're learning these different techniques. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to use this and I'm going to use this, towards my father, right? Because so many of us have resentments about the way that we were raised or what happened in our early childhood. Maybe we were abused. Maybe, it goes on and on. I can't even speak for you as to what happened, but so many of us have harboring some type of something towards our parents from childhood. And so some of it's really hard to forgive and some of it's easy to forgive. And so this part that was really hard to forgive, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start actively working on this. And so I did. I would do the techniques, right? I'm sitting there, I'm imagining the person, I'm telling them how I feel, and I'm doing all the things, I'm doing all of it. And I'm doing this in a subconscious state, which is, of course, the most effective way to do anything. By the way, if you guys have never had a hypnotherapy session before in your life, I'm telling you, man, it will change your life. It's something that it truly changes your life because you're going into the subconscious mind and you are actually healing things. You're not doing talk therapy where you leave and you might even be more disturbed. When you leave a session that you have done with hypnotherapy, you actually feel completely different because you've actually gone in, changed something, and resolved something in the subconscious mind, which controls your conscious mind. Anyways, I tell you that to tell you this. As I'm doing this work, I'm feeling these layers. So let's say that you need to forgive somebody, but you need to forgive them this much. We don't forgive them this much in one go. We can, but it takes some type of mystical experience, opportunity, something coming in through us for us to be able to truly actually do that and not just bypass, but to actually truly be able to forgive someone. This whole lot would take an experience, a mystical, beautiful experience to get that. But if that's not the case for you, which for most of us, those happen at points throughout our life, but it's not necessarily going to happen around this. And so what happened was, 11 years ago, I'm going and I'm doing this work to forgive. And so of this much, I probably forgave about that much. Okay, well, that's still so much more that I needed to forgive. But as I worked through the years and through the layers, then it becomes less and less and less and less and less until you have this mystical experience, and then it all collapses and you're like, oh, this is why that had to happen that way. Because we always want to know why, right? That's all we're ever seeking, is the why behind something. We have been this way since we were children. We want to know why. And if we have an explanation for why that happened, it can truly alleviate the suffering and it can set us free. So I know I've spoken about this before, but I've seen many people in their life and the purpose, like people passionately living their purpose, and almost every time it came from something pretty tragic in that area of their life that they were then like, oh, this is the thing I need to do. So at the time, this tragic thing was the worst thing potentially that had ever happened to them. But from it, they gained something that now became then their life purpose. And so often, this is the case for myself, that, I'm a spiritual teacher. And so I needed to go through these different avenues, these different experiences, so that I could heal them, so that I could then actually be able to teach people how to do this. Because I could tell you, these are the reasons why we need to do this. But if I haven't done the work myself, then the resonance of what you're receiving from me is not going to be beneficial from you, because I would be coming from an unhealed part saying, oh, you need to do this. I'm basically lip servicing something that I haven't done myself. But because I have done this work myself, I can tell you without any doubt that not only is this one of the most important things that you can do, but it really actually sets you free, and it actually sets the other person free too. And you might not want that at this point, but when you're ready for it, and when you're truly ready to forgive, you want that person to be set free, because you will see the part that they played in the ultimate plan. So I'm going to give you an example of somebody else's life. This is a true story, someone I'm close to. They grew up, and very early childhood was pretty good. But then their mother got into substance abuse. And so they ended up in the system. They ended up being homeless. They ended up having another parent then pass away. They ended up going into service in the military and having traumatic experiences there. They ended up coming back and having relationships that were extremely traumatic there, that were really mimicking what they had been through with their own mother as a child. And this had gone on and on and on. And so when I met this person, they did not love their mother. They didn't like their mother. They didn't want anything to do with their mother. And I said to them, totally cool. That's fine. I get it. But here's the deal. When we don't forgive these people, we have to come back and we have to do it again with them. They will come back. They will hurt us again, so that we can learn the lesson and so that we can forgive. This really shifted something within this person, and they understood, like, okay, well, I absolutely don't want that. I believe what you're saying, so I need to look at this. So this person then goes and they have a psychedelic experience, a journey, so to speak. And they're shown their life, the whole entire life. They're flipped through their whole entire life. Every little scene and image and thing that they had been through, they were shown. Now they come out on the other side of this experience, having their perspective about their life completely changed. And they understood something very deeply, that their life had to play out exactly the way that it had played out until that point, or they wouldn't be doing the thing that they were doing in their life. And that this person, their mother, who they were, so resentful and bitter towards, they came out with this appreciation for that person and thinking, oh, it had to be this way. It could have been no other way. Now, this person, on the other side of their life, after these tragedies, and even still during some towards their more recent years, made some huge, drastic changes in this world that are so beneficial and not only are helping humanity, but are truly doing something in this world is like, what? How is that not already being done? But they have really done some amazing things. Now, it was upon their life review that they understood that they would not have done any of those things had they not been through what they had been through. So I tell you that to tell you this: when you get a different perspective about why everything happened the way that it happened, it will immediately set you free and it will change things for you. You know, you might not want to go and hang out with that person and be their best friend anymore, and that's totally cool. That's not something that we need to do. But what's going to happen when your perspective changes about that person and when you've forgiven them is you're actually going to be setting them free. And so you will then notice that their behavior reflects that. It will actually change that person when they are no longer energetically tied to this negative feeling that you have about them. It will actually set them free as well. Which you might be thinking right now, I don't want that person to be free. They did this or that to me. Trust me, when you really have forgiven them, you want them to be set free. And not only do you want them to be set free, but you will see the part that they played and you will hold them so precious and dear to you, as I do, to all the ones who have hurt me. So this came through to me yesterday as I'm sitting there meditating. I had my ex come into my mind and I saw him as a younger boy. And I had all of this compassion well up in me. I was nearly in tears, might have even been in tears at one point, of just thinking of this little boy. And I said to him, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for what you've done for me. Now, in real life, this man hurt me. It totally broke my heart and destroyed me at that time. But what happened from that was I was set free. And had he not done what he did, I wouldn't be at where I'm at now. And I see this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This was the huge plan the whole entire time, that this was the plan the whole entire time. So if this was the plan the whole entire time, then that little bit of him doing what he did to me was also part of the plan the whole entire time. So why would I be resentful or bitter towards something that led me to exactly where I was supposed to be? I wouldn't be, but I was, until I understood what was really going on, what was really at play here. Now, through what he had done to me, betrayals and whatnot, I went in deep. I'm a hypnotherapist, so I do this work on myself. So what I would have done for clients, I'm now doing for myself, desperately doing these things for myself to try to find some relief. And so as I follow this feeling of the betrayal and I go all the way back, I discover, man, I did this to him. Previous lives, I'm a queen. And for some reason back in the day, you didn't have to be with your partner. You could have a lover, you could take a lover, and that this was completely normal. This was something that you did in the kingdom, allegedly, apparently. And so this was something I did. But this man who I had married, who was my ex in this life, really loved me. And so he felt so sad and betrayed by this, even though at that time this was the standard, this was the normal. I wasn't thinking of this. And I wasn't even necessarily, I wasn't doing this to hurt him in that life. This was just what you did as royalty. Maybe, actually, I'm hearing maybe I was doing that to hurt him in that life. Okay, that's new information. So we do these things and we think, oh, I did not deserve that. I haven't done anything to deserve that. But yet, if we don't look at the whole picture, because we're not just a spirit that's here in this one life. I'm sorry to tell you that, but we're not. We go on and on for always and always and always and always and always. And so if we actually look at the full scale of our whole entire existence, then we can see, oh man, we did this and we did this and we did this. And so these laws of electromagnetism, these are universal laws that are steadfast and always. Through the laws of electromagnetism, meaning I sent out this energy and I'm going to receive it back. When? We don't know, right? When they send out energy, zing, it's gone. It disappears. But at some point through electromagnetism, it returns in the exact same form that it was there previously. So I say this to say this, that I did this in a previous life. This to me was probably hundreds or, 1,000 something years ago. that I had done that to him, well, it only returned to me now. But why? Because all of this interplays into the magical woven tale of our life. And when we came here, we had a plan and we were like, okay, so I'm going to need you to change the world in this way. Perfect. Oh, I want to change the world in that way. Okay, cool. I'm going to give you a whole team. Okay, so these are all your people. Okay, cool. We're going to do a thing. Awesome. Okay, so just so you guys know, before you go to the earth, to get to that place, you guys are all going to have to level up a little bit. So I'm going to call back all your karma, and I'm going to have all these things that you did in the past that haven't been wrapped up yet. I'm going to call those into your life right now. Now it's going to be hard, and I need you to remember that it's going to be really hard. But when you're there and you're in the spirit world and you're deciding you're going to go back, you're like, yeah, cool. I got this. Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, I got that. Okay, cool. Yeah, sign me up. But we forget how hard it can be to live on earth. We forget that everything is the spirit when we're here. And we think these things are actually material. And we think that the limits that we're visibly seeing actually exist when they really don't. And so when we get back here, it's basically a giant game of remembering. That's all you're ever doing. When you have some amazing download, some insight coming in, this is not new information to you, and you know that. You are remembering something, which is why when you get it, it so deeply resonates with you because you're like, no, I know that this is true because I'm actually remembering it. I'm not learning it for the first time. And so when we come here and we decide we're going to do a big thing, we have to go through these trials and these tribulations that we have to go through here on earth because they're part of the plan of the unfolding of what it is that we need to do while we're here on earth. And so through this process of remembering, we can remember that we are harmonious, that everything is about unity, that we came here to assist each other, even the people who look like they are not assisting you. Yes, if they are in your world, they are part of the plan too. And sometimes these people who seem to not assist us, or maybe they're even our competition or whatever it is, maybe you need that competition to drive you forward so that you can do the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Maybe these people who are trying to hold you back or who are not leveling up are existing only to show you what happens if you were to stay where you were at before and if you didn't level up. Everything serves divine purpose. Our universe is intelligent, only intelligent. And so everything that happens within it is purposeful. So when you see a situation and you think, oh no, there's no purpose behind that except for pain, that's not actually true. Because that pain can be the catalyst that will send you into this area that's going to achieve this thing that's going to happen over here that's going to drive you and get you to where you need to go. Now, I'm not saying that we have to experience pain to get to the place that we need to be, but often, and previous to today, this has been the process that it seems like that needed to happen to awaken something within ourselves to then step into our passionate purpose, why we're actually here on earth. But things are shifting. And so as the earth is shifting and as things are shifting, it's very important right now is the time to do the inner work, to cleanse that inner self. So this is cleansing all of the things from the ancestors. This is cleansing all the things from this life, because what happens when we don't? When we hold these distorted energies within our field, any information that we're getting from the divine is going to go through. It's going to be filtered through that energy. And then that's what you're going to have on the other side of it. It's not going to be pure because it's going to be filtered through the junk that you still have going on inside you. This is why I made the Mental Cleanse series, so you can truly clear your mind, because I know you guys, and you guys are loving beings. And I know that you want the whole world to be filled with loving beings too. And why has that not happened yet? It hasn't happened yet because the universal laws are playing catch up, and no one is aware of the universal laws that they do these bad things to themselves. They haven't looked deep enough. They've just looked at this life that they have right now and they think, okay, well, this bad thing happened. I did nothing to deserve that, when very often, 95% of the time, yes, we did do something in this life to warrant what is occurring in this life. But that other 5%, can come from the past, right? This is the Dharma. You died before you had a chance to get all that money that was owed to you, or you died before you had a chance for somebody to get back at you for that horrible thing that you did to them. It goes both ways. We get the goodness that we didn't get in those previous lives, in these lives, and we also get the karma. And I say this karma, but it is not a punishment. It is absolutely not a punishment. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't know how to act. We wouldn't know how to be. We need to understand on a soul level that there is consequences to the things that we do and the things that we've done in the past. And we also need to understand this so that we can know that we don't need to punish anybody, but they're going to get that through the laws of electromagnetism all on their own. And if we don't play a part and we don't play a role in them getting their karma for this thing that they've done to us, then we are not incurring any more negative karma to ourselves by just allowing the universe to take care of it, and to take care of it in a beautiful way. Now I have to tell you, and I know I bring up my ex a lot, but this is what I have tangible that I can show you and tell you. So I'm driving down the road, and this is long after I have left him, but I then all of a sudden have this stream come in through me, and I thought, oh no, there's no way he's going to be able to handle the karma that's coming to him from what he did to me. And I was like beside myself, sad and upset, and thinking like, no, honestly, like, what if he killed himself? Because I nearly did. And I'm like, I know how strong I am. And if he had to go through what I went through, man, I honestly didn't think he could handle it. And I was stopped in the middle of my, feeling bad for him party, and thought, no. Look what happened for you. Look what happened for you. You were on the brink. You were on the brink of ending it. And then this amazing thing happened. So if that is what happened to him too, what a wonderful thing this could actually be. And so I went from him being someone that I loathed. Oh, I just wanted him to suffer because of what he did for me. I hated that man. I hated him for several months, to the point of, okay, no, I've forgiven him. To the point of maybe a year later of, oh, I understand so deeply how everything works. I hope he can handle it. To, oh, of course, that'll be part of his path. To, he doesn't really exist in my life anymore. And I'm not saying that this is going to be the process for you, for whoever you're forgiving, but it is an actual process that you go through. And so no matter where you're at in it, cool, man, you're where you're supposed to be. If you haven't even started the process, cool, man, you weren't even supposed to start it yet. Maybe today's the day. But whatever it is that you do, when we heal these things and we forgive these people, and we really only can forgive these people so easily when we can understand the part that they played in our life, and that, wow, that had to happen that way. Or I wouldn't have met these people, or this thing wouldn't have happened over here, or I wouldn't have been guided to move to this place, or all of the things, and maybe you're in the middle of it. Maybe this just happened to you, and so you are not there at all. I get that too. That's where I thought I was drowning. I literally, anytime I closed my eyes, all I saw was myself at the bottom of the ocean. I felt like I was actually drowning in my life for months and months and months and months. That is necessary. That is a necessary period that you need to go through, of whatever it is, of fully expressing and feeling the feelings that you're feeling. However, here's how it came back to me. So that was about 3 years ago now that, I found out what he did. And then I went through a period of I think it was November to June or May or something like this, where I was just bitter and resentful and wanting to end it. The life that I had been living for the previous 20 years was now over. Everything had changed for me, and I didn't know where to go, what to do, what's coming next, all the things, blah, 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 blah. Everything aligns out. If this is you, don't worry. It's all just going to unfold at the perfect timing. It just will. But as I was in that, I knew about electromagnetism. I've known about the universal laws. I know all the spiritual things. I know this. And so even when I was going through it, I knew I can't be doing this because this is going to come back to me. I can't be feeling this way. This is going to come back to me. And it was like, I don't want to suffer now, and again later, and again later, and again later. But what happened? It did return back to me. I was living on cloud nine for about 2.5, 3 years. And then all of a sudden, one day something hit, and I was like, oh, weird. I don't feel like myself anymore. I feel like that old version of myself. And this lasted for a few months. Now, it was supported astrologically that this was going to be happening, and that people really weren't feeling so great during this time. But I'm really glad that it happened. And it's recently ended because I understood just how deeply that mattered, how I had been before was coming back to me, that we can't escape it. We can't escape it. And so there's this fine line between bypassing and really going into it and feeling it. Because when we bypass, we say, no, I'm not allowing myself to feel that way because I don't want that to return back to me. Cool. You're right. It's not going to return back to you. But here's the deal about it. When you actually do feel that way and it's subconscious, you can lip service, deny it all that you want. But if it is still held within your energetic system, it's still going to be returned back to you. So I say that to tell you this: the faster that you can work through these things, the more beneficial it is for you, because the longer that you're in them, the more of that you're going to get again later, not just right now, but it's going to come back to you again later, that same emotion, that same feeling that you had. So here's my hot tip for you today. If you need to forgive, baby steps, tiny, tiny, tiny baby steps. So the onion is this big that we need to peel to get all the way down to the middle of forgiveness. Let's peel off one layer today. And so that layer could be, you could maybe write a letter to that person. And don't hold back. Like if you're like, I hate you because you did this, totally cool, man. Just actually let the truth out. So write out a letter. You don't need to send it to this person. You don't need to do anything with it, but you need to get that out. Because if it's never been spoken, if it's never been expressed, if you're harboring this within yourself, maybe because you feel bad, that you feel like, I don't even feel like I should feel this way. I have a lot of people that will come and their parents were like not great, and they will make excuses for them when I can see that they're clearly upset, that they are still kind of mad, they're kind of whatever, but they're like, no, they did the best that they could. That's bypassing. It's okay to acknowledge that, yeah, no, actually they did the best that they could, but like to my standard, it wasn't good enough. It left me feeling this way and this way and this way. Just be honest. Just speak the truth. Let the truth out, because that alone can really free you. And so write a really truthful, honest letter about how you genuinely feel, but then also write a letter about how you feel about yourself, that maybe you put up with it, or that you haven't spoken up about it yet, or whatever. So write a letter to that person that you're never going to send them. You could burn it. You could do whatever you want with it. But then write a letter to yourself, about how you feel about yourself. That's going to allow you to get in deeper probably than you have before. It's also going to illuminate for you something that you probably haven't noticed before. And it's also going to be encouraging, because you're going to just find a bit of relief, right? All that energy that you've been storing through writing your letter, some of it is going to be outside of you now, no longer contained within you. So this is what I have for you guys today. I love you guys so very much. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are absolutely wonderful, and I can't wait till the next one. I will see you guys then.